baby's home. Cairo, Cairo is my baby's home. One bad Cairo night won't be long. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Women in Cairo, they will treat you kind and sweet. Catch you around and take you off your feet. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. Shoot you and knock you, beat you and cut you too. They get through the graveyard, then for you. Women in Cairo send you down to your grave.
Hi everyone. Great to see you here, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for gracing my day and my evening here. Thank you so much for chiming in. And today's topic is going to be about small jewels that we have in our playing. Sometimes we think of them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we are totally unaware of what we're doing, but the perception of that and how other people are listening to that might be totally different from what we ourselves think about it. So if we think about it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I have a couple of examples. Some are really good. Some are like, yeah, maybe it's only me that notices those things. And we'll see. Let me say hi to the people who are here today. I'm sorry to hear that Patrick, who's a true regular, can't be with us today. So I'll see you next time, Patrick. That's great. Roy, tech troublemaker, thank you so much for initiating those meetings online in this, what would we call it? A group with mutual interests about technology and stuff, online content creation and so on. Extremely welcoming and very, very great, very good context to be in. Graham, great to see you. Hello from Wantage. Hello, Geir. Norwegian Attack is with us again. Milovan from Ohio, hi. G. Albert, thank you for coming. And once again, congratulations on the anniversary for you and Gwen. Amazing, 44 years. Got 13 years to catch you guys. All right, so we're gonna lead it off with the usual blues backup. So it's gonna be E, standard tuning, nothing more than that. Just to maybe tell you why I've chosen this topic for today. That because it's one thing leads to another when I'm doing things. So if I'm online reading about something, it may give me an idea, that's okay. But I was working actually this weekend and I was doing a workshop for the UK group that's going to be participating in Blues Week in July and August this year. And I'm going to be teaching there. So we have these kind of introductory lessons, like 45 minutes to 1 hour maybe. I show a couple of licks and talk about some songs, and it's a really nice workshop. And yesterday's subject was the nuances in playing, and I did address that several times in my live streams before, but let's say I'm going to concentrate in the real topic for today, so it's only going to be about that. So jewels coming up. All right. Oh, before I forget, this coming Wednesday on 24th, 5 p.m. my local time, that's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard, and 9 hours before that in Pacific. So anyway, I'm going to be guesting Ecamm Live on their own YouTube channel, and Ecamm Live is, for you guys who don't know, the app that I'm using to live stream, and the app that has, totally changed the way I work and what I can achieve, and how my reach has expanded when it comes to sharing music, sharing knowledge, and just doing my work online so much that it's really incredible. I'm doing live lessons, I'm doing one-on-one teaching through Ecamm. These 3 camera angles wouldn't be possible without such a welcoming app that really doesn't require you to know too much about computers. So yeah, so I'm going to be guesting them, and I'm going to be showing them how I use Ecamm and my tech setup. So I told you last time that one of my upcoming live streams is going to be about my tech. How does this all look here in the room? Because in the daylight, this is not like this, of course. And there are some zillions of cables around this whole place, and things are connected in different ways and all that. How to do video, audio. So I'm going to talk about all that on Wednesday. Right. So let's go. Guitar back up, folks. Standard blues in E. It's hot today. Yeah, great. 2, 3, 4. I'm out of tune and I don't like it. I was retuning this guitar, and before the live stream it was okay, but then it's really hot in here. So I think it's just like in the summertime when you're playing outdoors and it's really warm and it's all of a sudden like, what? This is out of tune? What happened? Oof. All right. One more, but now we're going to do the Kansas City Blues type. And if you noticed, I've played a little bit too much in this backup. So if you were playing solo on top of what I was playing, maybe you felt a little bit annoyed, but I can't really think of what I'm doing because he's doing so much. That was deliberately because I really wanted to apply more licks than were needed in just a simple blues backup. So if somebody's just watching this afterwards and then just listening to that part of the backup now without knowing the context, that person might think that, oh, this guy is a mess, he's just playing too much, I'm going somewhere else. So I'm sorry for that, but I just wanted to show how sometimes it can really be too much. I wouldn't do this, not even in a jamming situation where it gets wild sometimes, but no. I'll play much less. So, Kansas City Blues, and now I'm going to play very sparingly. I'm going to really play only one first round, and then after maybe 3 rounds, I'll do a little bit of a melody kind of thing, but then I'll just go back to this. So, if you're new to fingerpicking, if you want to just refresh the basics of fingerpicking, bass chord, that's all you need in this song, right? Or just play some melody on top of it. All right. And this leads us directly into guitar tuning. I have to do this. I'm sorry, there's something happening. But actually, the way I played Kansas City Blues goes directly into what I'm going to be talking about when it comes to nuances in playing, small jewels, why, when, and how. Give me a second. right. We're back. It was almost like commercials. And give me one more second. Still that first string, although the tuning machine says it's okay, it sounds a little bit flat in my ears. Okay, we'll see. So, when it comes to these things like small jewels, whatever is happening there, it's when you're listening to somebody playing and you're not a guitar player at all, you're not playing any instrument at all, you just listen as an average listener, and sometimes you just think, wow, this is not really good, or you think, wow, this is fantastic, this sounds great. Who is this guy or girl or this band? What are they doing? Why is this so good? Why do I like it so much? Usually people don't think about those things, like why do they like something or not. But I've noticed that those absolutely best performers always have a lot of dynamics in their playing. They play the different grooves. Of course, different grooves cannot be played the same way, but there's always this feeling of that they care and they've been working with how to present what they're performing. I mean, we can take Tommy Emmanuel, let's say, as one of the absolute best guitar players in the world. In many people's opinion, he's the best. It's just what it is. And I also love his playing, but I mostly love his playing when he's playing slow songs, ballads, instrumentals. There are a little bit less than very fast finger picking or flat picking stuff that he's mostly known for, you know. When I talk about maybe my peers, people who are at my age maybe, and the years of experience playing live and all that, we meet often during festivals, workshops. Sometimes we do same workshops, same guitar camps, and we spend a lot of time talking about music, talking about teaching, talking about how to send over the knowledge to the people in the workshop during those couple of days maybe, or a couple of hours that we only have, and how to present this without, you know, writing on somebody's nose that, hey, you're not good enough, you need to do this. It's not a matter of being good or not good. It's just a matter of, that's why I put the title on this live stream, Small Jewels in Guitar Playing That You're Not Aware of. So sometimes, just like, you know, like a good teacher in anything, you see a student and you see the potential, you see what should be done from this sort of party in order to improve something, to become better at something, to jump over a couple of steps in the development and to come to the results much faster. So that's what's really inspiring me, and I think that kept me doing all these workshops and teaching, and you can't complain when somebody's paying you to come and spend hours with like-minded people who just love the basically same kind of music that you're playing, and it's the best audience in the world. It's like, am I really getting paid for this, right? But still, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, you know, tension in the air, and sometimes you just don't come across so easily. So I thought, like, okay, let's talk in a live stream about this, because now, of course, you can sit at home and play guitar, and maybe some of the licks I'm going to be showing you now, maybe you can just try that out. Just see, okay, what happens now? Okay, he showed me this, let's do it. So I have a couple of examples. When I did a workshop a couple of months ago, and somebody wanted to learn how to play a ragtime song, or it was a kind of finger picking, but it was a really a beginner class, so people couldn't really play that. And one of them said, "Oh man, I love Bob Dylan's playing, but that's way above my head. I mean, I don't understand what he's doing. He's playing so much, and so much happening." I said, "Okay, which song?" And he said, "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right." And I knew exactly what he was talking about, because when you listen to that song, and I've heard several versions by Bob Dylan. I've heard even his demo recordings. I think it came out on a double CD called Demos Bob Dylan, just recorded on this old Grundig tape recorder in his bedroom before he became famous and before he even recorded a record or anything. So, and that version goes with a lot of finger picking patterns, which are going like all notes were played. Because if we go to the basics of finger picking, and because we're going to be talking about the chord of C in this case, let's say Don't Think Twice, right? This is the finger picking pattern when you really play each eighth note of this pattern, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you just play the basses, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you complement these notes with another note played on treble strings after each bass note played, like. And in the C pattern, the basses could go from 5th, 4th, 6th, 4th, or just 5th chord, 6th chord. Or if we just go with a thumb even down to the 3rd string, like a. I think that you've noticed the difference in the color of the sound. First, it was bright. Now I'm going to incorporate the D string. Now. If I just change the pattern of playing my treble strings from not going the 2nd string and then the 1st, which means so see, I first pick the bass and then the 2nd string, then the bass again, and then the 1st string. If I reverse the treble string pattern, just listen to that. I'm just a poor boy, right? So that's Paul Simon. And just one thing which is kind of cool about him, he usually played finger picking with only 2 fingers, just like Merle Travis, like Doc Watson. He would play just with the thumb and index finger, like this. Oh, sorry. And just listen to Merle Travis, listen to Doc Watson if you want to listen to some really intense and really great quality technical stuff on the guitar played. So a lot can be achieved with just 2 fingers. I'm using the technique with 3 fingers, thumb and these 2. There are people who are playing with 4 fingers and even 5. My pinky is only for like an orientation here on the guitar top, so I'm just keeping it there so that I know where I am. Basically, just learn to orient yourself, like, okay, which bass string am I playing now? So let me see some comments. Oh, Phil has joined us. Phil Thorne, a very accomplished guitar colleague of mine from the UK. Phil Thorne is an old member of Blues Week community. Great to see you, Phil. Thank you for coming. Thank you for pointing that out. Roy, I'd love you guys to click on the like button. And you see there's 6 likes. That's perfect. Albert, what was that you were saying? Let me just put up your comment. Do you prep for the workshops? Do you read the room and let the classroom dynamics guide the direction of the workshop? Do you send prep homework to the attendees to get all participants on the same page? No. Actually, I prepare my workshops so that I usually know, or I have at least, okay, 2 things. First, what does the boss, what did he, she, they told me they wanted me to do? So in the UK, now in summer, I'm going to teach the beginner slide group and the intermediate advanced class group, which is going to be 2 different complexity levels of playing for each group. And at the same time, I don't prepare specific songs. There are some colleagues of mine who both prepare songs, they prepare the tablatures, and they just go by the book. This is what we're going to learn. These are the songs. Here's your tablature, practice, and let's work with that for a week, which is okay. Somehow I've developed this a little bit more crazy style. I usually prepare many songs. So I have, let's say, 3 or 4 different grooves for my songs. And then I read the room. I read what people can do and how they play, and at which stage of their musical journey they're on. So somehow I find that, and then I usually have a couple of songs that I know that everybody can play, and they know the song. They usually basically know the chords as well. So we just go through those to warm up. And from there, I think nowadays, after like almost 30 years of teaching, I can see within 2-3 minutes where people are. And so I know exactly, okay, if it's a group of 10 people and I see 6 people are really good at what we're doing, they can really manage this, and 4 people are kind of, which chord was that? I don't know if the changes were right and all that. Then I can continue by kind of adapting to that, right? Maybe I'll let those 4 do the backup for those 6 who are maybe more confident with that song or with that groove, and then I'll maybe conduct them about how to play a solo or how to play more dynamically or whatever. So I do read the room, and then usually those workshops are yesterday afternoon. That workshop was just me showing stuff, so I couldn't hear them. It was on Zoom. Bless his soul. Zoom is all right, but it's terrible at the same time. But in the UK, it's either that I'm teaching over the weekend, which is 3 days, or we have 5 days of tuition. So within 5 days, usually it's the very similar group of people that are coming, because we teach, we are 11 or 12 instructors on a large guitar camp, and we teach, I think, 3 sessions a day, and each session is 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is very comfortable time for students to pay attention, learn something, practice on that, make sure that they understand what we were doing, and then just move on to maybe other lessons. Usually students go to 4 sessions every day, and I usually get the returning customers on at least one of my classes, right? Usually beginners. They stick with you for the rest of the week. Yeah. So I usually don't send this preparations if the organizer wants me to teach a specific song, and they say, okay, I want you to teach them to play Down by the Riverside, I want to teach them how to play this gospel or blues song, of course, then I'd prepare, and I'd maybe even do some tablatures, which I don't really like. I love to teach how to understand things by ear and memorize by visually visual impressions of where your hands are on the neck when we're doing this or that. And then, yeah. Or maybe I'm just lazy to write the tablatures. I always like to improvise. So, where was I? Dylan, don't think twice. So, if I just take the capo and basically, if I would play you the way how, let's say, I don't really remember how Dylan was playing this. There's one little thing that he was using. Oh, that's right, that's it. So if we play in the key of D sharp, no, let's go to D. So if you have capo at hand, it's on the second fret, that's a D, it's like a, ain't no use to sit down one why, babe, if you don't know by now, and so on. So when it comes to this second part, when a rooster crows at the break of dawn, try the window when I'll be gone. You're the reason that I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, it's alright. There's this little part when we could. Yeah, I thought that little syncopation that Bob Dylan does in the original version, and that comes when it, if you don't know, oh sorry, it don't matter anyhow, right? So he could have played like this, it don't matter anyhow, and there ain't no use in, right? No, but he threw in this little thing, which is just down, 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 which is syncopation of down, 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 and the note he reached was the 7th of the G. And at the same time, he also kind of emphasizes, so he picked those notes a little bit harder than the rest of the strings. And that shows, that's a jewel. Maybe jewel number 1 for today. Because he could have done something else, but he chose to do it like this. And then there's also this, when Doc Watson made his own version of this song with his son Merle, somewhere in the 70s, Doc actually played the melody like a... Sorry. No, that's mine. Okay, how I played. Don't think twice. So it's based on Doc Watson's version. That's right. So this is kind of an arrangement that I usually do when I play this song, and I don't perform with that song usually. It's sometimes people have the request, and it's this like, okay, that's not blues, and I'm usually booked to play blues gigs and all that, but sometimes there are situations where it's a really nice and cozy atmosphere, and I've done my share. I've played my 3 sets, and then somebody just comes in the backstage and, hey man, could you just play a couple of songs, like, it doesn't have to be blues, it's something else, just a little bit. Of course I'll do that, because I love other kinds of music, but this doesn't come in my official program, so to say. But since I've been listening to Doc Watson so much, and I was inspired by his both finger picking and flat picking, I was like, ooh, great, I'll play this way, the same way, like similar way that Doc Watson played it. So what I added here as my own little jewel, but usually people react to this part. So when it comes to so you throw in this 7th note on the 3rd string, let's C, and then the C7, and then you get to the F. Sorry. So this is D7. We're counting, it's a C chord, C grip. So this is like a D7, where I play the 2nd fret on the 6th string. This is a note of F sharp, which goes nicely with the D7. See? But I just choose to play a little bit dissonant with the note E, which is a 9th in a D chord. And then I stay on this note, but I grab the C like this. And this is a lot of basic bass notes and the 5ths, right? So I'm keeping this note ringing. And so on. So the idea, I don't know how I did this and why, but this is actually a G chord, but I only choose, I love this bass line, A minor, G, and then right? Gayer, you are my man. You are my man. You know why? Because of a very stupid thing. Yesterday, when I was teaching this workshop, I was sending my audio from Ecamm to Zoom, and it was a lousy sync. So what I did is I increased the delay in my live streaming software. And I forgot to put it back now prior to this evening. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really, really sorry. But now it should be okay. See? Please let me know in the chat if it's okay. Hi, Abby. Great to see you guys. Cool. I just got a notice from Gayer here in the audience who said that the sound was delayed, and I had an extra delay of my audio compared to my image that I had in another workshop yesterday for the Blues Week folks, Abby, and I forgot to put it back. I'm so unprofessional today. I'm so sorry. So I'll have to explain this with this finger picking thing again. Please let me know if everything is fine. Okay. So so when I come to this, seventh, so we're at the D7 with a nice E ringing, and we're keeping the E ringing. We come to G7, but in this grip. Camera needs to focus on my hand. A minor, G. But the F here is gripped by, it looks like I'm playing the bare chord and the F, but I'm not. I'm releasing the 1st and 2nd string. They're totally open. So after this, so the pattern is C, G, and then I go into another verse. I'm showing some arrangement solution for a song like Don't Think Twice, It's Alright. Another song, and that's where we're coming back to blues, is if you listen to Muddy Waters sing Got My Mojo Working, it's his showstopper. It's, you know, one of the best numbers they play, Muddy and his band, and it's always in the end of the gigs, prior to the encore, and of course it's a showstopper. But that song is also a lesson, a true lesson in playing humbly in the beginning and then just kicking it off into a real refrain blast, like got my mojo working, our mojo working. Great song. But if you just listen how the song starts, I'll try to kind of imitate that. So if we play that in E, and I usually play this song this way with my harmonica player when we play traditional gigs. Yeah, I'll tell you what I mean. So it's got my mojo working, but it just don't work on you. So this will be the backup, right? In the context of a big band, this would just be one part, one guitar. And that guitar would maybe just play this. That guitar wouldn't mind playing the basses because there is a bass player, there's a drummer who's pumping, a piano player who's maybe just doing. But if you're alone and you try to play it by yourself, then the basses need to be addressed somehow. So he's got this. So I've already played this chord shape in three different ways, emphasizing different parts of the rhythm, but I would never start like that. I would only start with the part with and other dynamic stuff I would leave for later on in the song. So that's one more of these jewels that we can, you know, just apply as if you would have a necklace, you know, with only like 2 diamonds, and you're just adding one more on each part of the song. Let's say another really good example of that is when I play Folsom Prison Blues with my dear colleague Maria Stille from Sweden here, and we do a crazy version of Folsom Prison Blues. You can hear it on YouTube. We have a version where we play that song in 2 different keys. So we kind of exchanged the keys because we couldn't really agree which key to play it in. But the thing with, let's say, Folsom Prison is that I would never play too much in the first 2 verses, right? The backup would be, I hear the trainer coming, rolling around the bend. The whole first verse will be this. It's just basses. Bass, chord, bass, chord. Nothing else but a little hammer on here. Right? And then I switch to the chord of A here with this with my middle finger. The jewel here is the damping technique, which is applied both on the picking hand and the fretting hand. So this rhythm is jumpy because I'm damping. If I wouldn't damp, it would sound like this. If I start dampening only with my fretting hand, but not with my picking hand, that would sound like this. See, each time I play a chord shape and change or do something, I dampen it, which means I release the tension, release the pressure on the strings, but I keep my fingers on the strings, which means if I would pick them, they're dampened like that. So that is combined with so here's a silence, right? That's the first jewel. Jewel number 2 is being aware of how you dampen with your picking hand, which means I can learn how to dampen the basses only, those 3 strings, but then the third, second, and the first string are open. And by playing a lot and practicing and performing, you will get this to be something totally natural. Like, oh yeah, cool, I can do it like that. So when I combine these two, then you get this. I hear the trainer coming, and then you sing your verse, and you don't use any of other strings, of those other strings. You don't do anything else. You're just telling the story. It's the first verse. That's it. When you come to the second verse, that's where I start implementing the treble strings as well. So, I was so blowing, I had my head and crying. When I was just a baby, right? And then I would just throw in a little bit in between singing lines. I wouldn't play. No, or not even, because it would be just the same. You're just like, I'm not riding a train, I'm not driving the train, I'm singing a song, which means I love. And then I just emphasize the little pieces of time in between the lines of the text, right, of the lyrics. So that's an example of nice jewels of dynamics in that song. Let me see, what else did I have? So we're approaching the hour now, so I really want to keep the time. The thing with these jewels is that it's not what you play all the time. It's also what you don't play. Which notes have you excluded from a groove, from a pattern that you're playing, from a solo that you're playing. Sometimes it's so great that you can just hang on a note and not play several notes, but maybe 1 or 2. But the way you play them is with such a statement that it's like a, damn, this sounds good. There's nothing else needed. Like, this is a very common introduction into a kind of Chicago blues, very heavy, slow blues style. If you start like this. Brown skin woman, baby, sure look good to me. And so on. So that intro was really simple when you think about playing technique. Is it difficult? No, it's not. It's just grab the D chord shape here on the 7th fret, and you bend like everything a little bit. The jewel here is this little damping in between this position and is a, because here everything is ringing. It's like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on? What's going on? So you create the silence in between, and then you hit it again with the same lick, and then you finish it off with a. Something like that, maybe. Brown skin woman, baby Shirley, and so on. It's a wonderful Jimmy Rogers song Jimmy Rogers was a guitar player who used to play with Muddy Waters in the early 50s, maybe even late 40s and early 50s. He was together with Muddy Waters, Little Walter, and that trio was totally wild, fantastic. So this is one of the songs that Jimmy Rogers composed. That's also one of the examples here. So dampening with your fretting hand, dampening with your picking hand, which I just showed you in Folsom Prison Blues, let's say. The use of big basses with high fretted notes, which is exactly this. This would maybe be a part of a solo or something, so that you play the big bass, but you're and so on. So utilize those basses together with another frequency of those other notes, which means it's always good to know. No, I mean how many different ways you can grab the E chord. It'd be maybe here, and then you got here, and then you got this here on the 9th fret, on the 7th fret with the bass, right? And then of course up here, but and then also one beautiful thing with these things is that you don't have to play the whole chord shape to complete this. Okay, you're playing shuffle, right? I wouldn't do this in any situation. Maybe, but then I would do something else. Well, this is a nice shape of E chord when you just open it up like this. So you play the first and the third string. It's a crazy shape. But anyway, this part, you will definitely recognize this if you've played the blues or listened to blues. Actually, these notes are two notes from the E chord, but in this shape. So if we would grab this chord according to the book, right? But we only choose to play. And of course, there are several ways to kind of move this chord and the whole shape and the melody. Maybe one of those could be. If we go to the A, right? So this is, that's a E 7th, 9th chord. As a whole chord shape, it would be maybe grabbed like this. And these small jewels made out of parts of bigger chords is also something that's fantastic to know and to incorporate into your playing, and just to investigate. Okay, where do you have some more of these things? Let's say, okay, A. Okay, where's the other form of shape? What shape of the A chord? Here. And up here you have the big bass. I mean, if you ever listen to Robert Johnson, it's his signature kind of grip here, like early this morning somebody knocked upon my door, and so on. But this can be expanded into and this is just a part of the shape of A7-9 up here on the 12th fret, which would sound like much more familiar. I mean, E7-9 like here. I guess you recognize this if you're a guitar player. But up here, okay, so that's A, because the bass note, that's the bass note of this chord is on the 12th fret, which is A. But then we just choose to play So there, if you just kind of memorize, okay, 9th fret, 12th fret, and then this, and that's the same as just an octave lower, and then you have this. And I'm only playing 2 strings and letting the G string kind of ring in the background. Jewels here are that I'm not really playing only those strings that I'm picking. So I'm picking the strings, but sloppy enough so that something else is ringing at the same time. If I would just play those notes that I picked, it would sound like this. So even if I try to do something kind of a little extra, it's okay. But as long as nothing else is happening, this is pretty dry in my ears. So I love this kind of, you know, see? There are some other things going on here as well. So yeah, sometimes it's good to play sloppy. So I think we went through the whole list of small tips about jewels you could apply, and to be aware of what you're doing and why you're doing things. Each time I talk about fingerpicking techniques, I'm emphasizing how important it is that you're aware exactly what you're picking with your picking hand. It's always quite easy to learn the grips with your fretting hand and all that, but I see very often that people are not really aware of what they're picking here. If you're aware of what you're picking, then you can first really practice how to place things and how you want things to sound, and then you can, let's say, by playing it many times, situations like this will occur. When you just hear, oh, what did I do there? What was this? Nice, ringing, cool. And this happened to me several years ago when I was teaching Muddy Waters' song 40 Days and 40 Nights. And I play that in open G. And basically it's the same thing with the grips. It's just not on the 7th and 5th fret. It's on the 5th and 3rd in open G because of the G chord here, right? And that's played in with slide, right? And then if I would maybe just imitate that here. Oh, sorry. It doesn't sound the same. It's not like in open G. It's not that. So some licks, some jewels are good for some necklaces, but other jewels belong to other necklaces, and that's the way it's done. I can grab this little guitar with a G open just to, you know, prove my point, and then we're done. Come. All right. Good. So. Sorry. Since my baby left the town. It sounds much more natural in open G. And then you got this. can't do this in standard tuning. So these jewels belong to Open G. And thank you so much for coming today, guys. It's been a pleasure, as usual. Don't forget, if you just, I'll be writing about this on my socials, on my Facebook, Twitter. It's already on YouTube. If you just look for ECAM FAM, it's spelled ECAMM and then FAM. Then you'll find this live stream this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central European time. For you guys in the UK, that's going to be 4 p.m. That's right. And I'll be talking about my experience with this app that I'm using for live streaming. I'll be showing the tech that I'm using. So I'm not going to be talking about that in my live stream I was planning. So everything's going to be there. And I'd really appreciate if you'd come and show your support and say hi in the chat. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for today. And I hope I will see you next Monday. Bye-bye.
It was in spring, one sunny day. My sweetheart left me, Lord, she went away. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. And she called me up, down and out by soul. Said, come back, Daddy, Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Like my peaches, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Spring, one sunny day, my sweetheart left me, now she went away. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone, I don't worry, but I'm sitting